Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy my stories. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you never miss out. Now on with the stories.
Living in a high-rise apartment complex has its perks, but it also comes with its fair share of challenges. For the most part, I enjoy the bustling atmosphere and the sense of community. However, there's one neighbor who makes life here almost unbearable, Karen. She's the apartment antagonist, the one person everyone dreads to run into. Her constant complaints and unreasonable expectations create a tense and unfriendly living environment for everyone around her. Karen lives in the unit directly above mine. From the moment I moved in, I knew there was something off about her. It started with a simple knock on my door one evening. I opened it to find a woman in her late 40s, with a permanent scowl etched on her face. "Hi, I'm Karen," she introduced herself. "I live upstairs, just wanted to let you know that I need peace and quiet. Some of us have jobs to go to, you know," I nodded, slightly taken aback by her bluntness. "Sure, I understand. I'll try to keep the noise down." She didn't seem satisfied with my response, but turned and walked away without another word. I shrugged it off, thinking she might just be having a bad day. Little did I know this was just the beginning. The first few weeks went by relatively uneventfully. I settled into my new home, enjoying the city views and getting to know my other neighbors. Then, one evening, as I was watching a movie at a reasonable volume, I heard a loud banging on my ceiling. At first, I thought it was a construction noise or something from outside. But then it happened again, more insistent this time. "Keep it down," Karen's voice screeched through the floor. "Some of us are trying to sleep." I glanced at the clock. It was only 9 p.m. I turned the volume down, hoping that would appease her. But over the next few days the banging continued. It didn't matter if I was watching TV, talking on the phone, or even just walking around my apartment. Karen seemed to have a sixth sense for detecting any sound coming from my unit, and she didn't hesitate to let me know how much it bothered her. One night around 11 p.m., I was jolted awake by loud music and laughter coming from upstairs. I groggily checked the time and realized it was Karen. Her hypocrisy was astounding. She would complain about the slightest noise from others but had no problem hosting late-night gatherings herself. I decided to confront her the next day. I knocked on her door, and she answered with a smile that quickly faded when she saw it was me. "Hi, Karen. I wanted to talk to you about the noise last night. It was really loud and went on quite late." She rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, it was just a small get-together. You're being dramatic." I couldn't believe her audacity. It was past midnight and the music was blasting. "It's just not fair that you complain about noise all the time, but then you're the one making all the noise," she scoffed. "Well, some of us have social lives. Maybe you should get one too." With that, she slammed the door in my face. I stood there for a moment, seething with frustration. How could someone be so blatantly hypocritical and unreasonable? The complaints didn't stop. Karen would file noise complaints to management almost weekly, accusing me and other neighbors of making excessive noise. The building manager, Tom, started to get fed up with her constant barrage of grievances. One afternoon, as I was returning from work, I saw Tom in the hallway. He looked exhausted. "Hey, Tom, rough day," he sighed. "You have no idea. Karen's been in my office all morning complaining about noise again." I shook my head. "She's impossible. I've tried talking to her, but she just won't listen." Tom nodded sympathetically. "You're not the only one. I've had complaints from half the building about her. We're trying to handle it, but there's only so much we can do." As the months went by, Karen's antics only grew worse. She started banging on walls at all hours, yelling through the floors and walls about how she needed peace and quiet. It got to the point where I would tiptoe around my own apartment, afraid to make the slightest sound that might set her off. One particularly memorable incident happened on a Sunday afternoon. I was cleaning my apartment, listening to music on my headphones. I thought it was a reasonable time and volume, considering it was the middle of the day, but of course Karen found a reason to complain. She banged on my door so hard I thought it might come off its hinges. I opened it to find her red-faced and fuming. "Can you please keep it down? I'm trying to relax." I took off my headphones, utterly baffled. "Karen, it's 2 p.m. on a Sunday. I'm just cleaning." She threw her hands up in the air. "I don't care, I need quiet." Before I could respond, she stormed off, muttering under her breath. I closed the door, feeling a mix of anger and helplessness. It seemed there was no reasoning with her. The other neighbors weren't spared from Karen's wrath either. I'd often hear stories of her banging on their walls or yelling through the floors. It became a running joke in the building. "Watch out, Karen's on the warpath again," we'd say to each other with a grim smile. Despite her constant complaints about noise, Karen continued to host her own loud gatherings. Late-night parties, loud phone conversations, and even the occasional karaoke session. It was like living in a parallel universe where her rules only applied to everyone else. One evening I was in the laundry room when I ran into my neighbor Betty. She looked as fed up as I felt. "Karen?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. She nodded, rolling her eyes. "Yep. She complained about my kids playing in the living room at 4 p.m. Said they were being too loud." I shook my head in disbelief. "It's ridiculous. She's driving everyone insane," Betty sighed. "I know, but what can we do? Management doesn't seem to be able to do much." It was true. Despite the numerous complaints from multiple tenants, Karen remained a thorn in everyone's side. She seemed immune to any form of reprimand or consequence. It was like she thrived on the chaos she created. One particularly bad night, I was woken up at 2 a.m. by loud music and shouting from Karen's apartment. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my phone and called the building's after-hours security. They promised to send someone up to deal with the situation. A few minutes later, I heard a knock on Karen's door, followed by muffled voices. The music eventually stopped, but I couldn't fall back asleep. The frustration and anger churned inside me, making it impossible to relax. The next morning, I ran into Tom in the lobby. He looked as tired as I felt. "Hey, Tom, did security talk to Karen last night?" He nodded. "Yeah, they did. She gave them a hard time as usual. But they managed to get her to turn the music off." I sighed. "It's just never ending with her. Something has to change." Tom gave me a sympathetic look. "I know, we're trying our best, but it's a tough situation." Life in the high-rise continued, with Karen's antics casting a shadow over what should have been a pleasant living experience. I tried to focus on the positives, the city views, the convenient location, and the friendly neighbors who shared my frustration with Karen. But her presence was always there, like a dark cloud looming over us all. One day, as I was returning home from work, I saw a group of neighbors gathered in the lobby, deep in conversation. I joined them, curious about what was going on. "Hey, what's up?" I asked. Betty turned to me, her expression serious. "We're talking about Karen. We're thinking of writing a collective letter to management, detailing all our experiences with her. Maybe if we all come together, they'll take more action." I nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope. "That sounds like a good idea. I'm in." We spent the next few weeks gathering stories and complaints from various neighbors. The letter grew longer and more detailed with each passing day. It was clear that Karen's behavior had affected everyone in the building. Finally, we submitted the letter to management. Tom assured us he would do everything he could to address the situation. We waited anxiously, hoping for some resolution. But true to form, Karen remained unchanged. She continued her reign of terror, oblivious to the impact she had on those around her. The banging on walls, the late-night gatherings, the constant complaints, it all continued as if nothing had happened. Despite our best efforts, Karen's behavior remained a constant thorn in our sides. We learned to live with it, bonding over shared experiences and finding solace in each other's company. Karen may never change, but we found strength in our community, determined to make the best of our living situation despite her constant drama. Life in the high-rise wasn't perfect, but it was home. And as long as we had each other, we knew we could weather any storm, even one as relentless as Karen.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.